Well, I loved what everybody had to say. I didn't catch a lot of the last 45 minutes because I have another event, but um, I mean, I am so excited for Manatech. I wrote a release that probably go out next week for Manatech, and it's all about the 21-day Love Your Liver reset program. Most exciting thing that's happened in Manatech in, I don't know, maybe 15 years. um, the momentum, and it's not just North America, right? It's all over the world with this program. You guys are on to something here. It's very exciting. Part of it is, um, I've been coaching people on this in my other coaching programs. Anytime you can actually get away from selling a particular product and sell a program, it has so much more value and it's so much easier for prospects to kind of get their head around, okay, what I'm buying is a program, not just products. Products kind of come along with it, but the difference between what you can build for value in a program and what you can build in value in products, pretty strong contrast. You can get way more value out of a program. And you got the WhatsApp community, you got, all the training, all the coaching, the whole recipe regimen of what you eat exactly, right? That's not in the products. That's not on the product label. That's all added value. And I just love what you guys are doing and how well you're doing it. And I love what Eddie and Rosemary are doing and creating that vision and the marketing and the support behind it. And I think like Al, I'm just and Vita just like, okay, gang, this is your shot. This is your opportunity. If you've been around Manatech for a while, I know one of the things that you've been looking for is how can I get back some of that old glory, right? How could we get back into the heydays? How could I build again what I built once? And one of the extraordinary things about people that have built in network marketing, maybe got to, presidential or wherever you got, right? You're making 2, 3, 4,000 a month or 10 grand a month or whatever you're making, and you've been in the company for 20 years. Uh, this is true for everybody. In that 20 years, you probably created 90% of your success in about 18 months or less. Could be 6 months. What happened in that 6 months or 12 months or 18 months? You just created a story about, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Everybody I know needs to hear about this. And you lose your mind. You just lose your mind because it's your mind, as Eddie was talking about at the beginning, it's your mind that keeps your foot nailed to the floor. It's your mind that spins the stories of, well, what if they, well, I'm not sure. That's all stories that keep your foot nailed to the floor. You want to lose your mind in a sense, such that you're so on fire, so grateful for what has been created here, so not taking it for granted. Like, what is the window of the Love Your Liver Reset program? I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's 5 years. It may not even be 3 years. What do I mean by window? There's just a window of timing where everybody, is on fire. And one of the things that creates momentum and like companies exploding again, Manatech has already exploded a couple of times in 30 years, is when everybody just sort of gets on board. It doesn't even take everybody, right? It just takes enough people. When enough people in the company get on board, then momentum for the company is created. And some of you have been around long enough to be in Manatech when the company was in momentum. Maybe you weren't personally, but the whole company was. And that is the magical timing to make hay. You may not have been one of the ones that created that momentum in the company, but if you can jump on that train, that rocket, if you will, That's the time that you make hay, and you'll get more done in building a team in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, maybe 24 months at the max than maybe in the last 10 or 20 years. If you're new, oh my gosh, if there's any way we could just give you the perspective of the last 31 years, this is a precious window of opportunity. How long is it going to last? I don't know. Kind of think of it like a stock market run. It's running. How long is it going to run? I don't know. But it would serve you to get some money in it. Right? Don't miss it. And so what do you do? How do you get money in this market? You get money in this market by losing your mind enough, create some reckless abandon. That's kind of how I've always seen it. Like, I'm just so excited. I'm so on fire. I'm so like sold out to the idea of helping the kids, of seeing, how many meals can we create in the month of December? So sold out on all of us doing that and me participating in it that I lose my mind, that part of my mind that talks me out of sending messages. And it's as simple as that. Al asked me to, make sure they're clear about the simple system. Simplicity is critically important in momentum because momentum is created in duplication, right? So it's you doing what you need to do, but you don't create momentum unless the people you enroll do what you do and the people they enroll do what you do. If you don't get duplication, you don't get momentum. And so duplication is based on those 4 key words, right? The people watching you need to say to themselves those 4 words, I can do that. And then they might say 5, I want to do that. But first they got to say, I can do that. If they don't say, I can't do that, they're just stuck in kind of looking at you like in wonderment. Wow, that's crazy, how she's doing that. Wow, that's amazing, right? These are the words, the 2 words you don't want people saying. That's amazing, because what comes with that is that's amazing that you can do that, but I can't do that. You really need people looking at what you're doing and saying, is that all you have to do? And yeah, that is all you have to do. And maybe if you're relatively new, you might be wondering, well, what is the all I have to do? All you have to do is ask people to take a look. It's really all you have to do. All the tools have already been created for the look. So your job, even if you're a seasoned person in Manatech, you may have too much information, too much knowledge, which kind of keeps your foot nailed to the floor and doesn't make you duplicatable, right? Because you go out with your master's degree in, whatever, nutrition or glyconutrients or cleanses or whatever, and people listen to you and look at you and they're very impressed. They go, wow, that's amazing. I can't do that. Even those of you that are really smart and lots of experience would be well served to use the system and the tools because they're designed to duplicate. So what is the first tool? It's the sizzle video. It's the video that very intentionally does not tell the prospect what the brand is. It does not tell the prospect even what the program is. It just tells the prospect through rapid fire social proof that whatever it is works, and works in a way that the prospect is looking for, right? So if you're asking people to take a look, we're not trying to convince people. There's all this information about the liver. That's just factual information. We're educating people. But if after listening to Eddie and Rosemary talk about the liver and health and fitness, if people aren't like, oh, I want that, then they're not our tribe. They're not who we're looking for. We don't need everybody. You don't need everybody. You can build an empire in network marketing with 4 people. 4, 16, 64, 256, 1,024, 4,096, and you're making, oops, I probably can't say, probably be illegal if I said it. I'd get edited out if I said it. You'd be making bleep, bleep, bleep amount of money a month, like 5 bleeps with a comma a month with 4 people. You don't need everybody. Just need the people that are ready, right? They're on fire. And
Richard, can I give you a quick example?
Please.
5 people in this Black Friday sold 67 packs, liver packs. Every one of them, and this will get blipped out, are going to make between $10,000 and $15,000 this month. 5 people. 5 people, 67 packs, over $12,000 to $15,000 each in November.
I didn't say that.
I said it, but we'll bleep it out. All right, continue. But it's your point. Your point is exactly right. It doesn't take an army. It takes a few people who are just on the same wavelength, ready to go.
Yeah. And then how do you find those people? Well, the number one simple function of a network marketer that's lost on most network marketers, we just overcomplicate it. We take everything that's ever been taught. If a company's 31 years old, I mean, it's like the stack of things that have ever been taught or released or information in Manatech is, 1,000 feet high. And we look at all that and we go, somehow I have to process all that. No, you don't. Actually, all you need to do is ask every day people to just take a look and give them a tool to look at and let the tool sort them. Yes, the tool is going to sell. 10 people rapid fire in the sizzle video saying it works, it works, it works, it works, it works, it works. That is selling. That is marketing. But if that doesn't do it for the prospect, we're not going to spend time chasing them around, arguing with them, showing them liver diagrams right? It's not worth it, right? They're not there yet. Find the people that are there because you don't need very many, but you do need people that are with you, right? You need people that are on fire, that get this, that are ready for this, and they're out there. How do we know they're out there? Well, they're joining every month right now. In every market, they're joining. There's like people say, well, I don't know if network marketing, if it's the era of network, people don't want to do it. 400,000 people a week join a network marketing company around the world. 400,000 a week. And that's just the DSA member companies. People are dying for what we do. They just, it's like if you ask people, hey, what does your liver do? Go ask 100 people what your liver does. You probably get 70 different answers and 60 of them are wrong. People are ignorant. They're ignorant about network marketing. They're ignorant about the liver, their body. They're even ignorant about what they should eat, right, for longevity. How do we know that? Well, look at what they eat. So are we in the business of trying to convince everybody? No, we're looking for the people that are leaning in. We're looking for the people that have already been thinking about this, already been looking at stuff like this, already been thinking about their energy level, their sleep level, their skin, how it looks, their eyes, how they've been thinking about that. Maybe they've been poking around looking, right? And so the sizzle video is just a tool to find out who's leaning in and then capture that momentum. And you may wonder, why isn't it branded? Why doesn't it say Manatech? Why doesn't it say Liver Cleanse? Because in 2 minutes, we don't have enough time to educate people on what we're doing and why we're doing it with Manatech. If you say Manatech in the first 2 minutes, you know what they're going to do. They're going to Google it. And the insanity of that as a strategy, as a system, would be like if you prospected people and say, hey, I'm doing Manatech and I want you to take a look at doing it. And how I want you to look is go to Google and type in Manatech and study the first 4 pages that come up in Google and then let me know if you're interested. Can you see the insanity of that? That's what happens when you brand the company in the sizzle video. If you don't brand it, yes, some people feel like, you're being a little too coy, a little too secretive, and I don't like that. I get it. We are, and it's intentional, right? You could even tell people that, right? By the way, the video I'm going to send you does not give you the brand name. If you want to know what it is, ask me after the video, right? So, but I'd rather have a few people feel irritated about that than have everybody making their decision based on Google. And so the system then is, okay, they watch the first video. If they're interested, how do we present the whole thing? With the second video. Who would you rather present all of this? You or Al, Rosemary, Eddie, and Landon? Which makes more sense? Which makes more sense for the people you enroll? Them presenting it? Or Al, Rosemary, Eddie, and Landon? Which way makes more sense for them to say, I can do this? Do what? Send a video? I can do that. I can get the 4 top, most influential, educated, on fire, articulate presenters to do my selling for me. I can do that just by sending a link. System, duplication. Yes. So how do you prime the pump and get the system going? How do you get things moving in the right direction? One simple action. And when we talk about, okay, let's sell 5, let's sell 3, let's sell 1, cleanses in the month of December, you might say, well, how do I do that? Well, you can kind of attack that from the standpoint of, okay, I'm going to call people and close them on the reset. I'm going to sell them the program. I'm going to get 5 people to do it. You can approach it that way, and you might actually have the horsepower and the moxie to get that done. But most people, they don't see that as doable for them. They're not sure how they would actually get somebody to buy it. And so what I would tell those people is focus on the lead metric. Focus on the one thing. Every project that we do in life can be boiled down to the one thing. And the one thing is the one thing that if you did it repetitively, you're guaranteed success. But it's a little thing. It's not the big thing. It's not enrolling somebody in the reset. That's the big thing. What's the little thing? What's the one thing that if you did it over and over and over and over and over again, somebody's going to buy a reset? So if you wanted to get fit, for example, set aside from the reset, you just wanted to get fit. You wanted to lose some weight. What is the one thing you could do every day that, unless you have some sort of weird physiological setup, you're going to lose weight? What is the one thing you could do every day? Now, I know most people would say work out. It's not actually accurate because you can't outrun your fork, as they say. The one thing that causes people to move in the direction of fitness is eat right. So if every day, instead of eating sugar or white flour or anything in a bag or a box, you just ate fresh and clean. Forget about how much you eat. If you just ate fresh and clean, you're going to lose weight and you're going to feel better and look better. That's the one thing. Now, you want to add a second thing to it, get out and get active for an hour a day. That's awesome and helps, but it's not the one thing. The one thing is what we put in here, right? If you're in a relationship with somebody, let's say your spouse, and you want to ramp up that relationship, what is the one thing you could do every day that guarantees success? Speak their love language. So if their love language is touch, if you rubbed your spouse's feet every day, what do you think is going to happen to the relationship? Guaranteed. Al, take notes here.
I'm working. I got this. I just wrote it down. Rub feet.
Every day, I guarantee things will be better at home, right? What is the one thing a network marketer looking to get in momentum needs to do? Ask people to take a look. That's it. Just ask people to take a look. So you want to know, how do you participate in December? How do you be part of this mass momentum in Manatech? Just ask people to take a look. Now, how many people do you ask to take a look? Well, you can ask as many as you want, right? If you're starting off, if you're brand new, I mean, you can ask everybody you know. You could ask 20 people a day if you wanted to. It's just a simple message. You could call people, you could DM them on social media, send them a text message. So however, smoke signal, carrier pigeon, doesn't really matter. But as a sort of, if you've been doing this a while and you want, okay, well, how do I get back into it? How do I get back in the flow? Just pick a number. Could be 2, could be 3, could be 4, could be 5, could be 10, could be 1. If you just asked one person a day in all of December to just take a look at the reset. So this is the 8th. I guess you got maybe, I don't know, 20 days left. If you just ask 20 people to take a look, I promise you, by New Year's, you got something going on. Something's percolating. You may not sell 5 resets in the month of December, but you're going to be part of the momentum. You're going to be part of 2026. You're going to have something to work with in January, because out of 20 people, somebody's already leaning in. Somebody's already thinking about this. Somebody's doing a New Year's resolution that says, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm ready to do something. Right? I'm gonna go do something. I just looked at, a friend of mine has a thing like Eddie and Rosemary have, like a center, a retreat center thing, a cleanse center, and it's in Medellin, Colombia, of all places. And so they were advertising. They had like a Black Friday special or something. And right now, this is the only time you can get this special price. And not only do you have to enroll, but you have to get a flight and show up in Colombia at the facility by midnight, December 31st. If you're not in the facility by midnight, December 31st, you don't get this price. Special price for a 10-day cleanse. Special price. Guess how much? Now, I'm sure they're going to feed you some smoothies or something, right? You're going to get some fruit juice, or I don't know, you're going to get something, and you'll get a cot to sleep on, and maybe you'll get to like meditate and go for walks and all of that. But it's $13,000 a week. You know what? They'll sell out. Why? People are leaning in. It's New Year's. People want to start the new year off right. Now, is that most people got $13,000 plus? And you know what? I looked, right? This guy's a friend of mine. I thought about, I'd like to go down and see what he's doing. And I thought, well, maybe I will. So I went on kayak and I said, what's it cost to get from Lanai, Hawaii to Medellin, Colombia? And then more importantly, how long does it take? And as soon as I saw my third connecting flight was out of either JFK or Miami, I'm out. But the ticket was $7,000. So there's 20. There's a whole bunch of people snooping around a $400 option. And all you got to do is get busy, asking people to take a look. And if this is beyond you, if this is overwhelming, if you're not, just do one a day. Just do one. I promise you, if everybody in Manatech did one a day, this company would be $1 billion company in 3 or 4 years. This be one of the biggest companies in the entire network marketing profession if people just asked one person a day. That's how simple it is to get a group of people to like create a movement. Just baby steps. Do whatever you can do every day, right? If 2 sounds like, well, some days maybe I'll be too busy to do 2, then just do 1. If you can do 4, which takes less than 15 minutes, it actually takes 5 minutes to ask 4 people. It's just a little text message. Hey, Al, I just completed this thing, 21 days in this program. It's mind-blowing. They can't Google that, right? They could Google mind-blowing 21-day program, but they're not going to figure out what I'm doing. And I got this 90-second video that introduces it. Would you take a look at it? And he watches the video. He's either leaning in and ready or he's not. That's all I have to do. How long does it take to type that message out? It takes about 40 seconds, maybe 45 seconds.
Once.
Al, good to see you. Great to see you at the kids' baseball game last week. Aren't they doing great? And hey, the reason I'm reaching out is I just completed this 21-day program that rocked my world. I lost weight, got all kinds of energy. I got this little 2-minute video that introduces it. Would you watch it? That's it. How long does it take to type that message? 45 seconds. How long does it take to do 4 of them? 45 times 4, like 3 minutes. You do that every day for a month, folks, you'll be in overwhelm with people who are interested, people who are signing up. And yes, a lot of people will say no. That's just the nature of the beast, right? Whatever you and I are doing, most people aren't interested in. But pay attention to this. This is one of the biggest breakthroughs I ever personally had, like aha moments. Because what I experienced as a networker is most of the people that I asked said no. And so I kind of held it as most of the people that I know don't want to do what I'm doing. And then took quite a few years to have this epiphany, but I had this epiphany. Actually, what's true is most of the people in this moment that I chose to interrupt their day with a text message and a video, most of the people that I know in this moment are not interested in this moment. But, then I reflected on, well, how did I get in this profession? A friend of mine called me up and said, hey, you need to come and check this out. And in that moment, I said no. And I meant it. And then a week later, the obnoxious person called me again and said, no, you don't understand that the meetings, tonight, you need to come to the meeting. No. And then a week later, he called me again. No. And 2 weeks later, I signed up. In the moment, I wasn't interested. In the moment, you ask, who knows what they're doing, right? They could have 7 kids. All of them have a different sporting event that day. They could have overwhelming things at work. They could have health issues themselves. They could have marital issues. They could be on vacation. They could be doing a million different things other than thinking about a 21-day liver reset. And so when you just happen to, hey, hello, liver reset, not interested in that moment. Does that mean they don't want more energy, better sleep, feel better, live longer? Of course not. Of course they do. Does that mean they don't have $400? Are you kidding? Watch what they spend money on in the last 2 weeks and the next 2 weeks. $400 to them is like water. It's like nothing. They'll spend it on the most ridiculous things on the planet. Why? Because they want to. Somebody that doesn't actually have $400 and can't get their hands on it, it's okay. If you're selling Mercedes and somebody makes $25,000 a year, they're not a prospect for your Mercedes. It's okay. It's not a reflection of your personal worth or whether or not they like you. It has nothing to do with it. They just can't afford a Mercedes. And that's, probably 70% of the population. So focus on the 30%. How many people can afford a $400 liver cleanse? Oh, at least 50% of the population, if they want to. And how do you get them to want to? Tell your story, tell other people's stories, and just rely on they're either ready or they're not. It's more about how consistently do you share the information than how you sell everyone on saying yes. Let go of everybody saying yes and just say yes to yourself. Yes, I'm going to ask people every day until I find the people that are leaning in. And then I'm telling you what, the difference between building a business like this, where you're trying to get people to do something, where you're out there promoting, you should do this, you should do a liver cleanse, you should be healthier, you should sign up, you should join my team, you should make more money, and let me like overcome all your objections and drag you across the finish line. That's no fun. What's fun is finding people that are vibrating at the same level you are, that are leaning in, and because they're leaning in and you just happen to give them what they actually need to go all the way in. When they see you, they're like, this is what I've been looking for. That's fun. And it's fun to work with people that want to work, are ready to work. Don't need to be dragging anybody across the finish line here. December is your opportunity. Everybody, like Mary Jo said, it's just absolutely true. Everybody from Thanksgiving through New Year's, this magical concoction that never happens any other time of the year. Everybody's hugging each other, right? MAGA people are hugging liberals. Why? They lost their mind. It's the holidays, right? We realized if you drain all the oceans, we all live on the same island. And everybody's giving, right? Look at giving. People that can't afford to do it, they're out there like shopping like crazy. Why? I want to give her. Oh, it's a gift. And we get in the car and we drive over to her house. Look, I got you this gift. Here's a gift, right? Spending money like crazy, hugging each other, going to parties, celebrating. And then at the same time, what's kind of percolating underneath is reflection. Oh my gosh. This is 2025. Five. Wasn't it just 24? Wasn't it just 20? I remember what did we call that thing in January 2000? We called it something that it was about to be the end of the world because the digit wasn't going to work in
Oh,
computers. Y2K.
Y2K, Y2K,
Do you
Y2K.
remember where you were Y2K? That's 25 years ago. It's like a third of my life ago. I was on the strip in Las Vegas. I was staying at the Wynn or something. I remember it very clearly. Do you remember where you were on 9/11? Exactly where you were on 9/11. That was 14 years ago. 26 is going to be here like that. 30 like that. Let's get busy. People reflect on their life. Maybe it starts happening after Christmas, right? They're not going to buy a lot of stuff after Christmas, but now what they're thinking about, okay, New Year's, January, back to work, back to business, back to life. Maybe I should be thinking about what am I going to do in 2026 that I didn't do in 25? So it's this magical concoction right now where people are in the best mood they are all year, and they're connecting and talking to each other more than any other time of a year, whether it's parties or Christmas cards or calling each other or FaceTiming each other or just going over and giving gifts. Everybody's hugging each other. Everybody's connected more than any other time of the year. And at the same time, everybody's reflecting on, how am I doing in life? Do you know that more people get gym memberships in January than any other time of the year? They sign up for the gym in January and they all let it lapse in March. But in January, they're all like, I'm going back to the gym. My mom always used to call it, she called like every Monday D-Day. You know, my mom's like eating a big piece of pie or something. She said, Monday's D-Day. What's Monday, Mom? D-Day, diet day. Monday. You know, but by Wednesday, she's eating another big piece of pie. She wasn't actually overweight, but she was always on a diet. This is the time of the year. This is the time to connect with people and show them, hey, we have a way for you to get fit. Gym membership's going to cost you $30 a month. It's going to cost you the same amount of money. Plus, you got to go to that place and you got to like be embarrassed next to all these people that know how to use all the equipment and are super fit. And you got to go there and like be weird in the gym and pay for the privilege. Or you could just join the WhatsApp group and stay at home and get fit. Same money, only now you can make money. So you can actually turn 2026 not only into your fitness year, but your finance year. 2026. All you got to do, join the tribe. Feel the vibe, join the tribe. So those of you that have been around forever, I encourage you, just do the simple things. Do the things that are duplicatable. Do it at the highest level you can. If you can ask 10 people a day in December, ask 10 people a day. If you're relatively new, pick whatever number you can like absorb. Watch those videos yourself again so you know what they are. And just ask people to watch them, even if it's one a day. And let's all be the fuel that sends Manatech into the stratosphere, because this company and these products and you as people deserve it. You deserve to be part of one of the biggest, fastest growing companies in this profession. Thousands and thousands of people have worked really hard for that in the last 31 years. This is your time. There is, as they say at Cape Canaveral, the weather creates a window. There's a window right now for launch. Don't screw around. Launch. That's what I have to say, Al.